not to be trusted blindly. You have this new space to operate. You need 10 times the reviewers that you had before to review your code. If you're framing intelligence as our cognitive skills, I think AI has already surpassed us. It's not a competition.
All right. So I invited you today, Eduardo, to talk about AI and the future of programming. And I have seen on your YouTube videos and also on your LinkedIn that you are talking quite about AI, artificial intelligence, and how it's involved in our day-to-day life. Also, since we're both programmer, how it's affecting our programming and technology in general. And I want to start with the question, when you look at how AI has evolved in the past few years, what feels different now compared to earlier phases of technological changes?
Okay, that's a good question. So I think compared to previous shifts, like if you look at the history of computer science and you look especially at previous big shifts like the cloud, mobile, even the open source shift, like for them, it took years to change our workflows, right? Maybe the cloud shift took less than the others, but still, we needed to change our workflows, our teams, our expertise. We wrote books on how to manage these shifts. With AI, that changed how we work. It changed how I work in months, not years, right? So this is, I think, the biggest difference, like the speed of this shift, of this change, and the speed of the adoption. So I see that the whole market is adopting this new, let's call it paradigm. It's the whole market adopting it and changing the way it works in months. And also, this is not a tool. This is not a new tool. This is a collaborator. Like past shifts in tech, with them you got like better tools to do the same things. Like with cloud, for example, you get better ways to deploy applications and to manage cloud applications. With AI, you actually have something that participates in the creative process. So this is also, it's like having a new collaborator on your team more than having a new tool. The thing is also that compared to other shifts, with AI, you have something that is good enough to be useful, right? But not to be trusted blindly. So you have this new space to operate, right? So you need to be good, but also you can trust what it produces blindly. You need to be kind of in the middle of this. And compared to the biggest shift that we saw like 10 years ago, the cloud shift, a non-programmer could not use the cloud or Kubernetes, Docker, all the stuff that came out 10 years ago without studying, without years of experience. With AI, a non-programmer can build a working app in days, weeks, right? This never happened before. So I think these are the biggest differences, right? So I'm excited. Honestly, I'm excited as a builder, and as an early adopter and as a builder. I love to see this kind of shift, these new things disrupting what we use, what we know, disrupting our markets. Also, on the other hand, I'm a bit concerned. I'm concerned as someone who mentors junior devs. I think both feelings are valid and honest.
So, yeah, I want to draw two connections from what you have said. One is that we have to be in the middle, not trusting AI blindly. And another one is that non-technical people are creating services and apps for the market. And we have seen recently, especially after OpenClaw came to the market, or actually not came to the market, became popular, a lot of different apps started coming online or services coming online that has lots of bugs and vulnerabilities. And also, I have seen a lot of agentic AI developer, as they brand themselves, that develop something but has a lot of open and hidden vulnerabilities in the system. How do you tackle this problem? Because as much as I understand, there are a lot more bugs and vulnerabilities in the system that there were before, because now there are less senior developers in the overall pipeline.
So I don't think there are necessarily less senior developers in the pipeline. I think the risk is that even even a senior developer abdicates control on what AI produces. Like they blindly accept AI output without thinking. That is the real danger. So the real danger is even a senior dev. So it's not a matter of seniority here. Even a senior dev, if you just trust what the AI produces without really understanding what it produces, like in terms of code, security, risks, deployment practices. So you need to really uh, evaluate what AI produces. So in that sense, I think code literacy still matters. So people who can't understand what AI produces, like they will ship broken things. In this sense, there, same as I said before, this is a real differentiator than previous shifts, because even non-technical people can do that. But really, humans should still be in control. You remember in the past, there were at some point even making mobile apps was easy. You could do that with easy tools, and at some point, the marketplaces were full of risky apps with security holes, opening security holes in your devices. And then Google and Apple implemented very strict human controls on the code quality of the apps with a lot of controls. That is the kind of uh, care that we need to also apply to apps that we deploy. And we need to understand that every time we deploy an app, this can pose a security risk for ourselves, but not only to ourselves, for everyone around us. Because this is another big difference. With an LLM, with an AI tool, you're not just exposing your data, you're potentially exposing everyone around you. Imagine OpenClaw. You take OpenClaw. When you use OpenClaw to expose your email, your calendar, your personal notes, your personal chats, you're thinking, okay, I'm trusting this software with my data. It's your call, right? Okay, it's your call. But what if someone writes a personal email to you, someone writes a personal message to you, you're exposing their data. So we need to be aware of the risks that we are facing around the data, the code, everything. It's just maybe, you know, that once we used this thing of calling code 80-20, like in 80% writing code, 20%
Yeah,
thinking about code. Right now, I think it's reversing. Now it's like 20% we write code, 80% we need to think. We need to think what we are building and all the implications of what we are deploying. And this is valid for juniors as for seniors.
yeah, and I think also as our technology evolved, we have different methods of working. Waterfall, I think waterfall model and Scrum and other stuff. Do you think that we need something entirely different for working with AI and entirely different working model?
I don't know. I think what really changes is the speed at which we deploy things. Because if you think about it, when you are assigned a task as a dev, now with an AI tool, maybe you can do the same task that you did 1 year ago in 1/10 of the time. So a new task is ready in hours, and then you can start doing a new task. So maybe in a day you open 10 PRs, right? So what changes is that now your speed is 10x what it was before. If everything around you stays the same, then it means that you need 10 times the reviewers that you had before to review your code. So I don't think it's a matter of processes. It's a matter of, what do you call it? Uh, Agreements. So you need to have new agreements with your team members, with your reviewers, with your managers. Is the speed what they are looking for when they assign you a task? Is this, because if this is the speed, then something needs to change in the process. If it's the quality, then maybe you can do one thing way faster than before, but maybe all the time that you spare could be actually used for testing the features, or for testing all the security vulnerabilities that you did not have time to test before. So maybe you can go at the same pace as you went before, but you have 10 times the time to improve the quality of what you're shipping. And in that sense, maybe the processes around you do not have to change, right? So it's just a matter of agreements. What we are looking for? Are we looking for just deploying things and just go fast and break things? Is this what we are looking for? If this is what we're looking for, then the classic Scrum framework, or this kind of frameworks, maybe they were not working even before, because they are not meant to speed you up. They're meant to give you like a sense of control and alignment with the team, right? So it's just a matter of agreements. You need to communicate. That this was important before, that this is maybe more important today. You need to communicate. The human touch, even in your processes, it's more important than ever. You are shipping things, even if you're shipping things fast, communicate what you're shipping. Describe your features. Talk with your teammates, talk with your managers, talk with who reviews your code. Human communications and understanding is more important than ever, more important than code. Code will become like a commodity. Everyone, eventually everyone will be able to ship code. What changes is your human touch, how you're able to communicate with your teammates and managers, I think.
Yeah, that's actually quite beautiful. I was thinking about this a lot because in my experience, what I have seen is there are a lot of miscommunications. Either like people don't use AI, like we are not going to use AI, we're going to do everything by hand, this kind of mentality. Another one is we're going to do everything with AI and we're going to build fast and break things fast and let's see what happens mentality. And um, I don't know, because we're still in the very early phase of this technology and it's evolving faster than anything else. Yeah. Anyway, do you think AI has the potential to outpace human intelligence? Or, yes, human intelligence, let's keep it like that in broad.
I mean, we will need to define intelligence first.
Yeah, true. Okay.
No, let me stop you. I think
Yeah.
If you're framing intelligence as the cognitive ability in our skills, our cognitive skills, I think AI has already surpassed us. It's not it's not a competition, honestly. AI is already writing code better than I can. But when you have to, usually when you write code, you are integrating your system with other systems, right? It's the developer's job is not writing code in isolation. It's writing a system that works with others. So you need to understand how other systems work. You need to read documentation. You need to read API definitions, blah, blah, blah. So an LLM is capable of having all this knowledge in seconds, and also all the past knowledge that helped building these tools. And also it can immediately search through all the discussions, all the issues, all the pull requests around every single feature shipped in the systems, right? So you want to integrate with the system. If you know the entire history of that system, like integrating is way easier because you know all the caveats of that system. So an LLM, a machine, a system, is way better than a human being. It's way better than me, unless I'm the maintainer of the app. But even a maintainer cannot know everything if an app is around for years. So it's not. The competition is not on who produces the better code. That is not a competition. And I see people still denying that the AI is capable of writing better code than a senior developer. But this is this is simply not true. That even if it was true, we are now at the fourth version of Opus. Imagine what it will be capable of doing in the fifth version, in the sixth version. It's constantly improving at a pace that we are not able to keep up. So if you think it's not at our level, a senior engineer level now, it will be in months or years. So the competition is not who writes better code. The competition is who is steering, right? So imagine you have a car, right? A very powerful car. Now, is the car faster than you? Of course, the car is faster than you. The competition is not who is faster, but is now, okay, now I have this tool, but I mean, I'm steering the car, right? The car assists me because also without it, I could not go faster. But it's the combination of my intentions and everything I know and its powers. And it's in this combination that we have the true benefits. A car in its own is useless. It's when I'm in control that we are useful together, right? And it's the same with AI. AI is a tool that alone is useless. It's when I create something with it, then we are useful. I think we should frame this collaboration not as an adversarial relationship, but we're doing something together.
Yeah, and one other thing that I was thinking, when we were learning programming in the early 2000 or 2010, um, we were learning through different competition, programming contest. We are learning different algorithms and data structure, habits of OS, database programming, a lot of different things and concepts are crammed in our bachelor program. And I want to know your opinion about this, but I think it needs to change because now AI can do all of these things better than I can or anyone can because it has the knowledge and potential to push forward, even if it's not right now, push forward our concept of programming, as you have said right now, far better than we can in our limited timeline. And second thing is programming contest usually used to teach us the way to think in a limited amount time frame and maybe come up with some better algorithms or something. But right now, our hardware is not limited. It's basically it's almost unlimited. And also our time, the way we are writing program with with AI is different, and it has a lot more potential to understand and see a lot more different corners and that we couldn't see before and understand before. Do you think students who are in their early 20s right now learning about programming, do they handle and learn things differently? Because as we have seen that our education system doesn't move as fast as the technology evolved.
This is not an easy question, honestly. I don't know if I have all the answers on this. I studied at the university in the early 2000s, and so I have a pretty strong theoretical background, and I think, and no, I'm sure that helped a lot in my career, even if I haven't really used everything that I've learned throughout my career. Still, many things that I've learned helped me taking better decisions and being a more helpful component of the companies or teams I've worked with. So, for example, I studied security and cryptography, right? I studied cryptography. Let's say I studied cryptography, okay? So I learned how hash table works and all kind of algorithms, right? I never really used that knowledge firsthand in my job because I was a web developer for like maybe 20 years. But still, knowing that, so possessing that theoretical foundation helped me understanding how things worked. And so that helped me taking better decisions when it came to debugging security implications of, I don't know, any decision, uh, choosing between one authentication solutions versus another, one deployment platform versus another. So I never used directly that knowledge, but it helped me with my career in shaping my other choices. And I think it's the same with AI. If you now you're in control of this tool, you're steering this car, right? That produces code that also takes decisions for you, and then it produces an artifact. Now your job is being able to evaluate that artifact, and how, first of all, how useful this artifact is for your goal, and could be your company, your personal goal, whatever, how useful it is. And it's not trivial. So understanding if something is useful is not trivial, because it's not just okay, it's doing what I need. Yeah, how, what cost. So there are a lot of, right, requirements that something has to to fulfill, and there are all the other implications of deploying something in production. So as I said, you are not running something in isolation. You are interacting with an ecosystem of uh, software, hardware, and even human beings. So you're deploying something in as part of an ecosystem. Your job is then being able to evaluate how it affects everything around it, and how everything around it affect your system, your application. How can you do that? You need to possess the knowledge to evaluate what is happening. What is happening when you deploy an app? What is happening when you deployed an endpoint, an API endpoint? What's happening when someone from their browser contacts your endpoint? What's happening behind the scenes? Why it's not working, or why is it a security hole? It's true that you can ask the questions to the AI, but you need to know the questions, right? So this knowledge still matters, and companies around the world cannot do without people possessing this knowledge. That's why I'm also concerned about companies stopping hiring juniors, right? Because still you need future senior devs. So if you do not have juniors today, you will not have senior devs in the future, and without senior devs, you would have no one capable of evaluating what's happening in a complex system, right? So that's still really important. If you look at the hiring pipeline of major companies, even companies investing heavily in AI, you will see that they are still looking for senior engineers. Is it because they need someone good at writing code? No, the AI is good enough at writing code. They need someone with the knowledge and the expertise capable of evaluating what's happening in a complex system. This is the thing. And still, university or everything you can learn by reading books or trying at yourself is something that can build this expertise for you. And you will be still a valuable asset to every company if you have this level of expertise.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful way to put it, that we need to have the knowledge to ask the question. And I think this is where I want to leave this. And thank you, Eduardo, for your time. And I wish you a nice day.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thank, thank you.